65,000 years ago, humans pushed boats into the rough waters of Southeast Asia. They crossed at least 90 kilometers of open ocean to reach a continent they had never seen. When they landed in northern Australia, they stepped into an environment of extremes. They faced scorching deserts, dense tropical rainforests, and megafauna like the diprotodon, a grazing animal the size of a small car, alongside 20-foot-long monitor lizards. Survival meant mastering this landscape immediately. They had to map underground water tables, decode the flowering cycles of strange plants, and distinguish toxic vegetation from edible food sources. These early arrivals were sophisticated navigators and problem solvers, undertaking one of human history's boldest explorations. While later empires like Rome and Egypt relied on written scrolls to pass down their engineering, Australia's first people developed a different architecture for their knowledge. Storing and updating a library of vital survival data across a massive continent for hundreds of generations required a method that could survive without a single written word. The solution was to weave their entire social structure and spiritual life into a resilient, decentralized network of information. This network processed a staggering volume of technical data, starting with a deep mastery of physics and aerodynamics. The woomera functions as a mechanical extension of the human arm. It utilizes specific angles of leverage to exponentially amplify the velocity and striking power of a spear. Long before the principles of lift and drag were formalized by modern physics, Aboriginal craftsmen were shaping wood into returning boomerangs, achieving the specific aerodynamic curve required for the weapon to fly in an ellipse and return to the thrower. These stones were the tools of complex chemistry. Aboriginal women developed a multi-step process of grinding, leaching, and fermenting to extract deadly toxins from cycad nuts, safely converting a poisonous plant into a nutritional staple. They applied this same rigorous observation to the landscape through mosaic burning. By setting precise, low-intensity fires to clear dry brush, they prevented catastrophic wildfires while deliberately cultivating biodiversity to attract game. Through applied chemistry, mechanical physics, and precise landscape management, Aboriginal Australians scientifically engineered their environment to guarantee their long-term survival. Storing a continent's worth of ecology and physics without an alphabet required a different kind of memory. The Dreamtime functions as a sophisticated mnemonic system. A narrative about a giant creator being, like the rainbow serpent, encrypts specific geological timelines, seasonal weather patterns, and maps to hidden water sources. Aboriginal artistic traditions, like this X-ray-style bark painting of a kangaroo, function as readable libraries. The internal organ structures and dividing lines detailed inside serve as an anatomical diagram, teaching younger generations safe food preparation during different seasons. By encoding science into visual art and memorable narratives, they created a storage system that passed down data for tens of thousands of years in an unforgettable format. Sharing this vital data across nearly 3 million square miles of terrain presented a distribution problem. To solve this, they established songlines, invisible highways of meaning that crisscrossed the entire continent. A traveler could navigate thousands of miles of unfamiliar territory simply by matching physical geographic landmarks to the lyrics of these songs. The oral tradition provided a perfectly accurate mental map of waterholes and safe shelters. The physical hardware of the system was a network of trade and kinship. Strict social rules required individuals to marry outside their immediate groups, establishing family ties that spanned vast distances. This constant exchange created a decentralized data backup. If a localized disaster faced one group, the collective knowledge of the civilization remained perfectly intact within the extended network. When European settlers arrived in the late 18th century, they misidentified the landscape as an untouched, pristine wilderness. They were actually walking through a carefully curated, continent-sized garden. As this aerial view shows, massive stone fish traps were permanent feats of environmental engineering built to sustainably harvest aquatic life. This achievement challenges the traditional metrics of civilization. This society prioritized the permanence of its knowledge and the health of its ecosystem over the construction of stone monuments. By weaving their science into their stories and their survival into their spirituality, Aboriginal Australians built an unbreakable web of knowledge, leaving an unbroken chain of data that remains the longest continuous culture in the history of humanity.